Howdy ho, guys and gals. Welcome back to the Den of Tools. Well, still working from home edition, as you can see. But I had a phone call with Segway, and I wanted to get this information to you while it was still mostly fresh in my mind. Now, this was Segway Corporate. This wasn't somebody in between. In fact, this was, according to them, this was the head of marketing for US Segway. Now, that we're going to talk all about that here in just a minute. Now, for those of you who are new to this and are still playing catch up on this, here's what happened. I was contacted, I think it was beginning of September, about doing a review for Segway. They basically, and here's how it works. This is the process. The company reaches out to me and says, "Hey, we want to send you something for review," and we look at that product and we go, "How related is it to what we do? Is it like a name brand tool company? In which case we're like, sure, just send it over. We'll take a look at it. Is it a what we call like subject adjacent? Like basically we do mostly tool reviews. So is it adjacent to that? In that case, if it's innovative, it's interesting, we might take a look at it if we think it's something that people want to see. But a lot of times we'll say like, well, we're going to have to charge you because this isn't really in our bailiwick, and we run a business. This is a family business that we do here, doing product reviews and business information and covering the world of tools and stuff here on YouTube. And our policy is this. Sometimes we'll take a look at it. We'll buy something, something we use, something we feel strongly about. We'll get it and we'll do a video on it. Sometimes a company will send it to us, and basically it's something usually that it wasn't like immediately in our list of these are the next 10, 20 things we're going to do. So fine, you want to send it over, it might get moved up in the list. And then if somebody wants to pay us for it, well, you get moved to the front of the list. But here at the end of the day, you're still getting a product review. You're not getting an ad that's posed as a review. We don't do that. We look at it as what I call the Disney fast track kind of principle. And if you've ever been to Disney, you know what I mean. Basically, it gets you to the front of the line, but once on the ride, you get the same ride everyone else gets. You don't get anything special. No one's doing anything. You're not getting like, well, you didn't like that ride, we'll give you a second ride for free. That's not the way that works. We only offer fully honest reviews. We've been doing stuff on YouTube here for 8 years. We have nearly 2,000 videos, and and that's always been our policy from day one. That and full transparency, telling you what's going on. If you want to see how the sausage is made, we'll show you how the sausage is made. Case in point, this company reached out to us. They asked us to do a review on it. Now, I got COVID at that time, and I was recovering from it, and they were pestering me. You got to get this done. You got to get this done. You said it'd be 2 weeks. And I'm like, dude, I'm dying of COVID here. Come on. And, but I did end up getting it to them within 2 weeks. Now, they felt that let me change my grip here on my phone. Sorry about that. But they felt that I was upset, and that I did the review upset. And I didn't. I said I was going to get it done. I was frustrated with myself for getting sick and pushing myself too hard and making that happen. But, and you can see I'm still on recovery here, trying to get better from all of this. But the fact of the matter is I did 3 videos that day, 3 or 4, all of Power Stations. And I did them all exactly the same. You can see them. I have the videos. All of those are up and published on my channel. And, only this one company had an issue. Now, to be honest, the company is a third-party agency working for Segway. And I never at any time communicated with anybody who said that they were with Segway. It was always with this company. It was only 2 people. And they contacted me back after seeing the video and said, hey, we think you're upset in this video. We want you to redo it. It shows an error. You can't say anything negative. And I'm like, no. We do reviews. I did a review. Everything I saw, everything I showed is what I saw. It was my opinion of it. that's what we do here. And as like we say to the kids, you get what you get and you don't get upset. Well, apparently their parents had never told them that. And so the first person pushed back a few times and was very like, look, you got to change it. It has to get changed. That's all there is to it. And I'm like, no, it's not going to do it. Contract's finished. You need to pay us. And then that person's like, look, you're going to get me fired. And I'm like, yeah, I believe you. And then a second person stepped in. As far as I know, it was a second person. It was a different email address. It could be the same person with a different email. It's like, I don't know these people. And this person tried to play good cop, bad cop. And they're like, look, our client is a real bleepity bleep. I think I know that you fully, did everything perfectly and that you totally deserve to get paid. So let's get you paid. All I need for you to do is edit out that part of the video and then it's good to go. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And then they said, okay, well, we just make a whole new video just using these. And they sent me over a list of like the things I was allowed to talk about. And I'm like, no, you pay for my time. You don't pay for my opinions, right? You don't get editorial content on this. Now I have a video that I've posted that shows all these emails, well, at least all the relevant emails. I think it's most of the emails, shows the emails and shows the contract. Now the contract, understand in the contract, it says, the deliverable is a review. Okay. And it says it has to be honest and, it can't use curse words and stuff like that. It has to be family friendly. Great. And that's exactly what we delivered. Now, I had a lot of people who've watched too many versions of LA Law try to chime in and say about, well, the contract, because it's a contract. No. A lot of people don't realize that before this, I was a C-level executive in Silicon Valley for 20 years, and I dealt with contracts a lot. I was the go-to person in my company for communications back and forth on all these contracts with our clients like Microsoft, clients like Sony, clients like Apple. I dealt with all these people all the time, and I know how contracts work and what they mean and what's involved in a contract. A lot of people think that like, oh, there's a gotcha in there, and because of that one little case of wording, the whole thing. It's not how they work. Contracts go based on intent. Okay, it's a relationship, and if a judge gets involved, he's going to go, what was the original intent of this, and what was it meant to do? And it says right there, and Mike, and they'll look at the communications leading up to that, and the communications like, this is a review. We only offer reviews. We only offer honest reviews. It says it in all the emails we send out when we talk to people. So they knew what they were supposed to be getting. All right. And they tried to, change it and do all this other stuff. And I said, no, that's not going to happen. And then the second person eventually got to the point where they threatened me. They threatened to get me blacklisted. They said they knew all these other companies in China that I deal with, and they would go and talk to them at one of these big meetings they have, and then I would lose all my contacts with any companies, and I basically get cut off. And I laughed at them because I'm like, honestly, and this is what I've always said. People are like, I got a lot of you folks out, and it might be you that I'm talking to, think you're Sherlock Holmes and know how this business works. And you don't have a clue. You just don't. You're like, well, you have to say good things or these companies won't deal with you again. And you're entirely wrong. In fact, even during this whole process, I had other companies that are working with Segway contact me and going, hey, can we get you to review this other stuff? So you're wrong there. Secondly, case in point, after this phone call with Segway said, hey, what they did was wrong. They threw this other company under the bus. All right. Now, the other company, they'd even gone so far as they tried to do 5 times, they tried to do takedowns on my video. And 5 times YouTube denied them. Then they called me or they emailed me, said, saying, hey, you need to take this down. And not going to happen. All right. But Segway, once I talked to them, they're like, look, that was them. We should have had them more under control. We should have been paying better attention to what they're doing. They're like, this is our fault, 100% our fault. We weren't involved. We didn't do this. We didn't say those things. But at the end of the day, they work for us and we didn't do a good job. So we're going to do an internal investigation and figure out what went wrong. And we're going to get you paid because that's part of the contract and you've held up your end of the contract. And we're not going to ask you for any takedowns or anything else. We would like you to make the other video public so that everyone can see it, which I'm more than willing to do. It's already posted. You can get to it from the other video. You just can't get to it directly. So I'll just make it so that it's available directly. And they didn't ask for this video. And I told them, though, that I was going to do a follow-up video. And they're like, well, do what you're going to do. They said, but we got more stuff coming down the pipe. And we'd like to prove to everybody that we're open and honest. And we'd like to send you some stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. We'll see what's what. Because honestly, I'm only interested in looking at stuff if it's stuff that I think you guys are interested. This last product they did, I thought looked interesting. I thought you guys wanted to see it, so I wanted to get it in the shop and do the full deep dive on it. And as we did, and you can see the original video, you can see the follow-up video where I exposed this other company for all the stuff that they said. I'll put links to everything down below. But again, at the end of the day, the people who think that, like, as a reviewer, I can't say what I want. First of all, the hell I can't. I do it all the time. B, the companies that know what's what, they will kick to the curb anybody in their company who does stuff like this. Case in point, Segway's doing just that. And C, even if they doubled down and said, we're never dealing with you again, I got 10 other companies right behind them willing to say, well, they're idiots. We're going to get to the front of the line now. So there's always somebody to step in and replace them. And 9 times out of 10, there's always somebody at that same company who's like, well, I'm going to prove to my boss that I can get reviews, posted, and I can get the job done when this other guy can't. There's always somebody willing to step in and fill the void they left. That's the way business works. And that's the reason why so many companies like to work with us, is because we're honest and we put stuff out there and people see that and they know that, like, hey, look, this guy says it is what it is, then it is what it is. And if you listen to, that's the thing though. I got a lot of people who try to paraphrase what I say. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And if I say, hey, this thing's good in these conditions, they're like, well, you didn't say about this. Well, I didn't. I can't sit there and say every condition where it's not good. This is why you would want to buy it. If I didn't mention it, then maybe you wouldn't want to buy it for that, okay? That's like saying, do you need to buy an F-350 to drive, a mile to the grocery store? No. I mean, it may be a great truck, but it's not great for that. Okay. And that's the way we are about products. We always try to find, hey, here's the way this product works, and here's why you might want to use it. I can't list every other way you wouldn't want to use it. I list the ways where it would be successful. There's a million ways where it wouldn't be successful. So don't try to put words into someone's mouth, into a reviewer's mouth, and don't try, and whether it's negative or positive, don't try to sit there and look like, well, he said this, so that means that this thing's great for this other thing. No, that's not what they said. All right. Anyway, case in point here, or not case in point, but what I'm trying to say here is that we try to be 100% open and honest. I communicate. I try to answer every comment that needs to be answered. I put out in every email, in every video, in the details is my personal email address, and you can email me. I've even had phone calls with people, and you can ask around. People will tell you, they've called me up and say, hey, I need to know more about this. And I've had a phone call with them, not somebody who's paid me or who's a member or something like that. Just anybody who needs help. If we can help them, we try to do that. And again, it all goes back to this open and transparency kind of thing. It's, we're a business, but we'll show you how the sausage is made because we do it the right way and we're not afraid to show it. Anyway, if you got any other questions about what's going on with Segway, put it down in the comments below. One thing I will say about this, a lot of people said, I'll never deal with Segway again. And this is an issue I have with not just with Segway, but with all sorts of companies where people will say, this company, I bought one thing from a company and they screwed it up and I'll never deal with them again. And I had this recently because we did this thing on Eufy with their security cameras. You have to go see the whole video on it, but they screwed up with something pretty badly. And I said, I right now I have a do not recommend on them. Now they've since fixed the issue, but I'm still waiting to see how that part of the company is moving forward. People said, well, how can you support them or not support them, but support Anchor Solex? Because they're both owned by the same parent company. And I'm like, that's like saying, like, I know the guy across town kicks his dog, so I hate my neighbor. These are different divisions within a company. Companies are not monolithic. You can't blame Doug for what Steve over there did. And unless they're actually like in charge of the same departments and stuff, things change. Look at Harbor Freight. If you were at Harbor Freight 15 years ago, Harbor Freight was a company where you bought temporary tools that hopefully made it through a project. They were super cheap and you got what you got. And today they're contending. Go look at our friends over at Torque Test Channel. If you don't want to take my word for it, look at the performance specs, man. Harbor Freight's putting out stuff that is contending with the big guys. The Hercules line is contending and often beating Milwaukee and DeWalt. You got the Icon line contending and often beating the tool trucks. Bauer is sitting there contending and often beating Ryobi. So they've changed. The company has changed what they're doing. Things are not static, all right? I'm not saying that I fully trust Segway. It's a wait and see kind of scenario, all right? They did admit that somebody in their company did see the video and did give feedback to this third-party company, but that was not the U.S. branch. It was I think they said Hong Kong branch. I could be wrong about that. It was the overseas branch. I don't know what was said. They didn't know exactly what was said in that conversation, but they're going to be trying to figure it out. But at the end of the day, they said, look, this is not our policy. This is not how we want to do business. And this is definitely not the kind of company we want to be, and we want to fix that. I'll give them the opportunity to try and fix it, but I'm going to, again, have to take a wait and see on it. I've been a big fan of Segway, at least the original company. I was a donor to Segs for Vets, which I thought was a great platform, doing good things for our veterans, delivering them products that were trustworthy. I think that Segway 9bot, which is the new company now, has a lot of similarly great products. And in fact, I thought this other product was pretty good. Go check out the video for yourself and see what I mean. Anyway, let me know what you think. And again, as I said, we have full transparency. If you have any questions, put it down below. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.